Always good to see Jesse Palmer, ESPN college football analyst and host of ABC's The Bachelor, Bachelorette. He's got something cool that he's doing with Marriott and the NCAA. It's called HomeField Advantage Contest, as a nationwide contest looking for college football's craziest, most passionate fans. He'll talk a little bit more about that. Also, Jay Palmer's clothing line, which we just got, collaboration with Fanatics. Some really high-quality stuff. Busy man, Jesse Palmer, joining us on the program. Can you help us understand the mindset of Tua being a former player and a former quarterback of being 25 or 26 years of age and saying, hey, I still want to play football?
I still want to play football, and Dan, I still want to play football at a really high level. I think Tua is about as competitive as they come, and for a guy at his age to already have 3 concussions, it's scary. But I think he realizes the ceiling of this offense and the ceiling of the team. And I think for any competitor, whether you're a quarterback or whatever position you play, at the end of the day, you want to be out there on the field competing, especially when you believe you can be very good and you can compete for Super Bowls and championships. And I think that's the mindset Tua has taken into this.
But also, I don't think you can go on the field and think about an injury. Like, you shouldn't be on the field if you're going out there going, I could get hurt.
I can't play scared, especially at that position. And that's the thing. And I think all of us, when you decide to play football, especially at the National Football League, you understand that there's inherent risk every single time you take the field. But you're absolutely right. In my experience, playing with players that were nicked up or banged up, or even my own experiences, if you play not to get hurt, you get hurt. That happens more often than not. And that's simply just not the mindset you can take.
Watching the Ravens last night, we've seen the Ravens regular season and we see them postseason, and they're usually a different team.
Yeah.
What you see now with the Ravens, is this sustainable in the postseason, what we're seeing, their offensive game plan?
I mean, it looks a little bit different to me with Derrick Henry and the physicality they have in the running game. I mean, they've been running roughshod on everybody from the very beginning of the season, but these last 5 games in particular, I think, Dan, and during the win streak, the balance has been tremendous. And it's not even just Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson running the ball. I'm really impressed right now by the offensive line and what they're doing up front. I know that was a big question mark coming into the year. They had some new faces. But you're watching that game last night. It's not just the holes Derrick Henry's running through and the attitude runs, but that touchdown pass to Bateman down the right sideline. I mean, Lamar has all day to throw that ball. The 2 touchdown passes to Mark Andrews in the red zone. He's got all day to throw the football. He's getting an opportunity to survey the field and get through his progressions. He's so much more efficient that way. So we've seen this story before, as you mentioned. This now has to translate into the postseason. And he's got to be able to do it if and when he faces Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, which, if you've watched the Chiefs play defense this year, there's no guarantee the Ravens are going to be able to do that regardless of where that game is. The Chiefs have been scary good defensively, stopping the run and getting off the field on 3rd down. And it's amazing that they're the only unbeaten team left in the league right now, considering Mahomes has thrown more picks than TDs at this point of the year.
Help me understand why more quarterbacks don't get under center, because to me, I think it would help you with play action. Let's say we're doing play action. The more you have to kind of find what I'm doing as a defensive player, it feels like it's to my advantage. I would have Russell Wilson under center all the time. Just giving the thought, Lamar under center all the time. Just the thought. Why is it that you find offensive coordinators or quarterbacks who don't want to be under center?
I think the biggest thing in talking to offensive coordinators is they want the quarterback's eyes on the defense as long as possible. From the gun, faking zone reads and doing that, you're facing the defense at all times. And even in the play fake, you can cheat your eyes and look up and see what's going on with safety rotation to get an idea where you want to throw the football. Back in the day, way back in the day, Dan, when I played, and there was a fullback on the field and there was I formation, you actually physically took the snap under center, turned your back, and sometimes really hardcore play fakes, those were hard sells. You had your back turned for maybe a little over a second, and then you had to turn around. You had to negotiate the pass rush. You had to figure out the picture had changed completely on defense. Where were you going to throw the football? And you think back to guys like way back in the day, like going way back, Steve DeBerg, but even now, like Russell Wilson, who you mentioned, Aaron Rodgers, those guys are so good in the mechanics of the play fake. They sell it better than anybody. And it makes sense, I think, in those offenses to mix that in. But with the advent of spread, and I think just wanting to keep your eyes on the defense, I think that's why you see less and less coordinators willing to do that.
I thought Boomer Esiason was the best I ever saw. I thought
All
that
timer.
he was incredible. I would be watching on TV, and I wasn't sure if he had the ball. He was that deceptive with play action.
I took the worst hit of my life on a hardcore play fake like that. We were playing when I was at Florida. We were playing Tennessee in '98, the year they won the national championship. Remember Sean Ellis?
Yeah,
So he's playing
defensive end.
He's playing defensive end. He's an All-American. He's going to go on and wreck games for the New York Jets later in his career. And it was one of those deals where it was hardcore play action fake in the fourth quarter, third down. You're trying to get the tight end on a drag route. You really got to sell it. Al Wilson slamming up into the line of scrimmage. I sold the crap out of it, except our left tackle totally whiffed on Sean Ellis. So when I finished out riding the play fake, a la Boomer Esiason, I turn around to throw it. Sean Ellis hit me right when I was here. He hit me right in the sternum. Ball ends up sailing out of bounds. We got a punt. I jog off the sideline as fast as I can. Neyland Stadium's going crazy. And the training staff runs out to me. And they said, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. They go, no. What's wrong? I said, I'm totally fine. It's incomplete. We're punting. They said, lift your arms up. I couldn't lift my arms up. The blood flow got spiked to my arms. I got hit so hard. I was running, flapping my arms, limp, drumming off the sideline. So I have a PTSD love-hate relationship with these hardcore play fakes. Let me just tell you. So thanks for bringing it up.
Okay, great. When it comes to watching these guys in college, because you're an ESPN analyst, who has surprised you the most? Is there a player that stands out of, you saw him in college, you just didn't realize what he was going to be in the NFL?
It's happened multiple times for me. I was thinking about this the other day. I called Russell Wilson's first game in college at NC State. I called Patrick Mahomes's first real live action on the road at Oklahoma State. And, in the moment, as young players, as young true freshmen playing, they go through the struggles that every true freshman goes through. And you're saying to yourself, well, this guy's obviously talented and he's got a long runway ahead of him in college and things are going to develop and things are going to change. But I think if you had asked me leaving the stadium both days, hey, like these guys are going to win Super Bowls, I'd have been like, yeah, I don't really know. But it just goes to show, I mean, through coaching and just how people mature, the jump that they make in college, I think from year one to year two, and then in the league from their rookie year to the second year, to me is always the biggest jumps. Those are two names that I thought they were going to be really, really good college players. I felt confident saying that, but I obviously had no idea they were going to end up being what they were at the top level.
Talking to Jesse Palmer. Tell us what you're doing with the HomeField Advantage contest.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. So obviously, as a player in the SEC, as a Gator, calling games now for ESPN for the last 18 years, I've seen firsthand how fans can really make and create HomeField Advantage. So I'm excited to be teaming up with Fairfield by Marriott to find and reward some of the most epic fans in all of college football. It's funny. I think back to like being in airports or being at stadiums over the years and talking to fans about the lengths they've gone for their team. I met a fan once that said he drove overnight through 5 different state lines to be at the game and cheer his team on. I've talked to fans that have said that they wear the same shirt, they wear the same jersey, and they don't wash it because their team never loses when they do. It's kind of gross, but it works for them and their team wins. But this is part of what I think makes college football so unique and so special. So we want to hear these stories. So we're going to reward fans with the most epic stories, with VIP experiences at the home stadium of their favorite team. So I really encourage college football fans out there to go to fairfieldfan.com where they could submit their great stories. They have until November 8th to do it, and I can't wait to hear them.
He's also launched Jay Palmer, a line of menswear, and really some great stuff. Sent us some gear and in collaboration with Fanatics Sports Platform. How do you fake sincerity on The Bachelor? Or that you, or empathy, or like there have to be times when you want to laugh, but you can't.
I feel like as a Canadian, I'm generally pretty empathetic and compassionate myself. I check that box just naturally based on being born in North York, Ontario. But yes, there are times when on the outside, I'm trying my best to look stoic. And on the inside, I'm asking myself, WTF? What is going on? What is happening right now? There's, Mike Tomlin does it every week. You see him doing. There's a lot of coaches throughout the league that have that same look, and on the inside, they're thinking something else. And that's part of the act, I think, as host of the Bachelor franchise.
But have you ever wanted to laugh, but you can't laugh in that situation?
Yes, but you're laughing on the inside. So isn't that the same?
I don't know. There's nothing better than a good, you got to be kidding.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Like Alex Trebek on Jeopardy would just have to laugh sometimes when he'd be like, come on, you don't know who Tom Landry is?
Yeah, I know. There are times, but in the end of the day, Dan, listen, it's their own journey, and they have to forge their own path. My job is just the conduit. I'm just there to help guide them. I'm like the rails in a bowling alley. I just try to keep the ball somewhere in play in the lane.
Okay, but how many scenes are deleted? Like, how often do you shoot something? You go, man, we can't show that.
All the time. I mean, we're filming thousands of hours a season that has to get condensed and edited into a 2-hour or a 1.5-hour live show. So I've flown halfway around the world to sit down and have a chat with either the lead or with another cast member, and it never saw air. And that happens all the time.
Oh boy.
Stuff gets taken out. And so there's so much stuff that people at home will never ever see.
He's Jesse Palmer. It's the HomeField Advantage contest, nationwide search, looking for you, the craziest, most passionate fans. FairfieldFan.com. Also, check out at Fanatics, the J. Palmer clothing line. Some high-quality stuff. Great to touch base with you. Hope the family's good.
Everybody's good. Dan, how's the shoulder doing, by the way, before we go?
It's left shoulder, so, still got free reign to be able to throw. I like to sling it a little bit.
I was going to say, listen, Dan, all those years going 330 off the tee box with the big stick, there's a price to pay for that.
Did you ever have shoulder surgery?
I broke my right clavicle, and I had a titanium rod put into it. So yes,
that was your nickname, wasn't it? I think in college.
Good old Jesse Titanium Rod Palmer, back to pass.
For different reasons, though. Hey, great to talk to you.
You too, brother.
That's Jesse Palmer, ESPN college football analyst, the Bachelor and the Bachelorette.